three of you mostly said career-related stuff. Well, you said you ventured off a little bit. But it seems like career is just number one. So where does relationships fit into this? And is that included in having it all?
That would be the next, I think the next level for me, is to have that partnership, as KJ mentioned. That's something that I definitely desire and want, and children and things like that. But you know, I live in LA. And I hate to say it like that, but in my experience, everyone listening, in my experience, dating in LA is not like dating in the South, like where I'm from. I'm from Lake Charles, Louisiana.
Are you single?
I'm single. Yes, I'm single.
I am as well.
Yeah,
Single, ready to mingle. Put that out there.
I think that's interesting that all three of you were talking about having it all, and all three of you are single. So that's why, and I know does it feel like being a career-driven woman, especially a woman of color, you kind of have to pick one that's, you know, it's either you're going to be the wife and the mom or the career woman, because I would think having it all, to some people, would mean all of that.
I'll say.
Go ahead.
I'll say this. In my previous relationship, it was very hard. That was a very difficult situation trying to, thank you. That was a very difficult situation, traveling all the time, not always being available. Sometimes if I'm talking to people all day, I don't want to come home and talk to a person. So I don't care who it is. I don't care if it was my mama. I'm not in the mood to speak right now. It's not that I don't want to talk to you. I just don't want to say more words. So it ended up becoming a task, and it was really hard, and the relationship was great, but it was just like things like that made it an issue. So yes, I would say it becomes an issue being a career-driven woman when you have different priorities, when that is your priority, and it's sometimes your significant other has to take the back burner. It's not that you want them to, you know, obviously there are times where you want to be like, can you come with me maybe? But like, this is really important for me, you know? So my goal in having it all is maybe to find a partner that can do it with me, that I can do it with perhaps. And I see now why people always have work relationships, because it's like, this person is with me, great, we're in this together, you understand my life 100%. So
I totally agree with that, because I say when I'm dating someone outside of the business, they're civilians. So dating civilians for me is a little bit harder once my schedule gets a little bit busier. So yes, having the person with me and we can build and grow together in that way would totally make it easier. But at the same time, I've been in relationships with people that were in the business and not in the business, and my work wasn't a problem for the relationship. Other things came up in the relationship that made it not work, but it never had anything to do with my work. Luckily, I've been with people who supported me 100,000%, no matter the hours I was doing, no matter the late nights I was filming, no matter the early mornings or what have you. If I had to do an audition, they're there reading sides with me. Come on, babe, let's get it. I've had those experiences, but it's been other things like insecurities that's come up maybe on their part, and then me trying to overcompensate for that, and then that became a little bit too much. It's like, okay, I need you to know that you got to be perfect, whole, and complete by yourself, my brother, as am I, but I need you to know I don't want to have to then mother this thing the whole time. That's when it becomes too much work.
And that's when it doesn't feel like you have it all.
And yes.
I've absolutely been there as well, where it's like you're spending as much time trying to lift your partner, because if you're over here killing it, which a lot of black women right now are really doing that thing, right? So you keep hearing the studies, you know, the statistics, you know, the biggest group of educated women, you know, we're the most educated, the most, you know, we're entrepreneurs, we're successful, and a lot of us are leaving our partners behind us.
Right.
And it almost feels like sometimes we have to make a choice, like career or love. And it's hard, it's rare to see someone that has all of that and make it work. And I hate that, because I feel like we don't have a lot of the same luxuries as our white counterparts. 100%. And I don't know why, is it because there's maybe less opportunities for us? So it's like, you know, you put all of our energy, we're putting 100%, are we putting 90% into our careers and 10% into relationships?
It's definitely finding the balance of the relationship and the work, right? And trying to figure out where that fits, because oftentimes the relationship will be here, work will be down, and then sometimes it goes that way, and then you're still unhappy. For me, it's trying to find the balance in it. So I had to then go back and rethink, what does all mean for you right now? Because if all is all these different things, then that includes other people, that includes children, that includes all these other things, variables that I want, then there's levels to it. So for me, that's why I said my all right now, I have it all.
So that could change.
But that could change. It's ever evolving. Thank you.
Yeah.
That's the word.
How do you feel about this?
The relationship aspect? I think...
I'm sorry, you're single as well, right?
I'm single, yes. So I think it all just depends on if that person is worth your time, you know, whether they're there with you on set or not, because I was in a previous long distance relationship, and I found myself, it goes back to the old saying that people make time for what they want to. And, I'd be up till 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning on the phone, because that's what I wanted to do. It was a choice, even though I had an 8 o'clock call time. And, I felt invested in that, and that's what I wanted to do. Like, I chose to do that for that person. So it's just like, you guys both have to be willing to make that work. And is that person a priority for you? Are they worth sacrificing that time? And not everybody is worth sacrificing that time if you don't see it like working out on the long run. So I think for me, it's like, it's possible, but you just got to make time for it.
And it's not easy.
No, not at all.
I remember feeling a lot of times that I had to pick one or the other. When the relationship was thriving, the career was not, because my energy was over there. And then vice versa. And I felt like, why do I feel like I have to make a choice between these two? Because they both fulfill me. You don't want to just be someone's mate and just be, successful, not successful, but that's your thing. Like, you want to be able to have like layers in your life and get happiness from different areas of your life. And it seems a little unfair. I've heard before that women make a man their whole world, and a man will make a woman 25% of his life, and be able to put us in a...
I think we have to hustle for a lot of opportunities. Like, whereas, say, some of our other counterparts, opportunities come to them like dime a dozen. But for us, we're grinding, making sure our crafts are up to par, maybe even getting our own PR and things like that. Like, we're trying to make a full image for ourselves where other people aren't necessarily always involved, whereas like men sometimes they even have those opportunities as well. So our focus is on our careers and not so much the relationship. So we're just exhausted trying to get that career lifestyle that we want to, and the relationship kind of takes the back burner sometimes because we're just so burnt out on trying to pursue our dreams.
Have men felt or said anything to you about feeling not needed in your lives? Because when they see successful women, sometimes some men, I've had this be said to me before, well, you don't need me. Like, you're good. I'm like, no, but I want that. And I think some men feel that, a woman that has it all is a little intimidating. Have any of y'all run into that?
Definitely.
100%.
All the time. Okay. You're too good for me.
100%.
So how do you deal with that?
Especially when the initial stages of a relationship. Oh, let me take you to dinner. I'm good. I just made my meal. Oh, well, let me. And it's like, it's not that I want to want you. I don't want to need you. Now, there are some things I need.
Right.
There are some things I need.
Put that out there.
Go deeper. What do you mean exactly by what do you mean?
Whatever do you mean, KJ?
There are some intimate things that I would like from a person, but it's like we have to get to that place. We have to get to that place in a relationship. And when you have a busy schedule, trying to build that trust that's required, for me anyway, to get to that intimate space, that's the tricky part. That's where, I take issue. That's where it's like, and I'm a strong believer in, getting back to your original point, I'm a strong believer in where you put your focus. How you said, if you put your focus in your relationship, then your career wanes. And that's in everything. Everyone isn't an actress. That's with everything. I remember before I became an actress, I wanted to sell Mary Kay. And I was like, this is a while ago, and I was like, oh, I don't know what I want to do in my life. I'm gonna sell Mary Kay. And I remember going to that. Can I say Mary Kay?
Yeah.
Okay. I remember, it's weird with these brands.
Right.
So I remember going to like the little conference, and they were like, you can sell Mary Kay, da da da. And I remember the mentor that they give you. She said, listen, with this company, you get in what you put out. And that's with anything in life.
You was trying to get that pink Cadillac, huh?
I wanted my pink Cadillac. I wanted my pink Cadillac. You get out of it. You get out of it what you put into it. That's what I meant to say. You get out of it what you put into it. So it's really interesting trying to sow seeds. I have a hard time maintaining relationships with my family, with my friends. It's not even just about being in a relationship. It's every relationship in my life. I have friends who call me like, I ain't heard from you in a while. You care if I'm still alive?
Right.
And I'm like, yes.
Do you feel guilty, like being
100%.
that you put, it sounds like
that is why you can't have it all.
So you think you can have it all?
You cannot have it all.
So something has to suffer for you to have it all career-wise. Someone's gonna like lose out on attention, relationship, family members, time.
Yes. Money.
So how does that make you feel? Does that make you feel sad?
It's a little disheartening. It is, and especially now, all of this is so new to me. This success, this fame, all this stuff is so new. So when you get a call from someone you love, you want to spend time with, and they say, you don't care about me anymore? You don't love me anymore? Do you care if I'm alive? You ain't checked on your niece? You know, when they're reaching out to you and you really haven't, because you're like, oh, but I've been on tour and I've been, and it seems like you don't care, but you do. But it's like, this is my time. I was broke for 10 years. I didn't have money for 10 years. I didn't have a dime, and now it's like opportunity after opportunity, and I'm sorry, I forgot to call you. But it doesn't feel like that to them.
Right.
So I do feel like you can't have it all. I feel like there are sacrifices that are made.
There's a lot of guilt, I think, that comes with success, right? Because the people that you feel like you've left behind, family members. I remember feeling like I moved here from Rhode Island with $500, didn't know anybody, and there's a lot of Christmases I miss. There's a lot of nieces and nieces' birthdays. And then before you know it, they're 13, 14, 15, and they're not used to you being a presence. And then it's like, oh my God, I missed out on all these moments. And if your career doesn't totally blow up to where you want it to be, that's when you kind of feel like, damn, I did all of this thinking that was all. But really, some of that is having it all as well, right?
Yes.
Like the other things that are important in our lives, like our nieces having a track meet, or you know, mom being sick or whatever, and we're not there. Because this business, we all have to be a little bit narcissistic, a little bit, right?
A little bit.
It's a little bit about it's me,
100%.
because you don't know when that's going to stop, where you're not hot anymore.
Right.
And talk about, I would like all of you to talk about like if there's been any guilt with missing out on things to put your, to pour so much into your careers, because you're all successful. So there's had to been a lot of sacrifice.
Totally. Yeah, so exactly what you said. I looked up one day and my nieces were 10. And I was like, wow, I miss so much.
Do you feel like a bad aunt?
A little, but the way that we communicate is via videos. Like I'll send a video, like I always know what's going on whenever she gets her calendar. Her mom sends me her calendar, like I know what's going on in her life, or their lives. There's 3 of them now. And so I would just send videos all the time, like, hey, this T. They call me T. Taja, because when they were little, they couldn't say auntie. So
Where's your
like
family?
T. Taja. They're in Houston, they're in Louisiana, and they're in Dallas.
Oh, okay.
So I would take little videos, I would send them a video, and I'd be like, send me one back. And so they would just take time and send me videos, and I'd be like, oh my gosh, she's playing the violin, oh my God. You know, and so I would take the time with all of my family during that time and let them know why I couldn't be there, why I wasn't there for your Christmas, why I missed your birthday again, you know, and I tried to send them things, and that made me feel better, but it kept a presence of some sort, you know, in their life. But at the same time, now I'm in a position to where, thank God, I can then travel. Now I can go to the track meets, or I can go to the violin recitals. I can go to, oh, you have a prom coming up, or I should say homecoming coming up. I can like go there and be there for those things. So I'm super excited about that, because I've worked so long and hard to be able to do that. But it definitely was a sacrifice. The sacrifice that you have to do, that you have to make for family in order to get your goals made and get to where you want to be.
100%. I sacrificed, for 10 years, and Tasha could attest to this, I sacrificed even my health, because you move out here, you don't have no money. What can you afford to eat? I was eating top ramen and Cheerios.
Oh, yes.
You know what I'm saying? So it's not even just sacrificing relationships, you're sacrificing your health, you're sacrificing your mental stability, you know, and like Tasha said, it's all worth it. Listen, I wouldn't trade it for the world.
It's worth it if you make it.
If you make it.
But if you don't, I guess my fear is always bad if you don't make it, all those Christmases and track meets and relationships that we've all missed, I just wonder how, I always think about like, when I'm on my deathbed, am I gonna be happy about, yeah, I missed all that, but I was on this TV show. And our TV shows can't hug us at night, right? And our TV shows can't, you know, say, auntie or mommy, I love you.
Right.
You know what I mean? So it's such a difficult thing that we have to think about all the time.
Well, I think, sorry, I'm just jumping in real quick. I just think you have to be okay with the choices you make. And I don't allow myself to second guess all of that, because there's nothing I can do about it. I made those choices 10 years ago, 5 years ago, 3 years ago. I made it now. But I got to be okay with the choices that I make, and then walk in it now, and then if you will make up for it in a sense, if you choose to, or whatever that decision is. So for me, it doesn't bring me guilt now, because those are the choices I had to make then, and I know I had to make that choice in order to live, to survive. I couldn't afford to go home. There was a time my best friend's mother died, and I didn't know how I was going to get home.
Wow.
I did not know how I was going to get there. I had no money. I was living in North Hollywood in a little studio by myself, and I was like, I called her, and she knew that I didn't have any money to do it, and she was like, if you can't make it, I understand. I was like, I don't know how, but I'm going to figure it out. And I went on Facebook. Oh, God, I'm going to cry. I went on Facebook, and I put up that I was trying to get home. I needed a buddy pass. And so a friend of mine, a guy that I know, I can't even say a friend of mine, he worked for Southwest. And he was like, I got one left, and I got you. And I was like, oh, my God. And I made it home for her mom's funeral. And when I walked in, she just looked at me, because she didn't know I was coming. And when I walked in, she just fell out, and we just like held each other. Oh, it came out.
I appreciate you sharing that, because we started off the show where it's like, nope, I'm good, and I like that people are getting to see this, because this is what it really is. And I'm just asking questions because I want people to really understand the level of sacrifice.